Hello, class of 2022. Welcome to junior night. Glad you guys could make it tonight. And if you can't join us live or your friends can't join us live, I hope you share this link with them. Hey, juniors, I miss you and I hope to see you soon. I know for myself, I loved high school, but junior year was like just one of my favorite years of high school. And I hope that it can still be an amazing year for you, even though we're not on campus yet. I do expect that that will happen at some point during the year. We're looking at ways we can get some students on campus in the fall, and I'm hoping as restrictions lift, hopefully by spring we can get back to a little bit of normalcy. I'm hoping we can have a junior prom. We have a really special day called Junior Unity Day at the end of the year to get you guys prepped for your senior year. So I'm hoping all those things can happen. I know there's athletic seasons to still be had. There's a spring show, there's a robotics season. I still really greatly hope all those things happen. In the meantime, let's stay focused on our academics. Let's get our grades up as high as possible. This is a really great opportunity for you to thrive and succeed in your school right now. So hey guys, tonight, the purpose of tonight is to go through the college planning process. What does that entail? There's going to be step-by-step directions given on how you can get started now on planning for college, on applying for college, on applying for scholarships, and the reasons why you should do that. So our counseling staff has put this together. They're also going to have resources that you can go through to help you step by step as you go through the process. It is time to start planning now for what your future is going to look like. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guidance counselors, Mrs. Witham and Mrs. Mahili, for our junior night. Hope to see you soon, Caymans. Bye-bye.
Hi, Caymans, and welcome to the 2021 academic school year. My name is Karen Witham, and this is Natalie Mahili, and we are your Studio High School academic counselors. And we're super excited tonight that we put together a presentation for you, a virtual presentation for you that will be covering four-year university college applications. We'll be covering community college, covering career and technical education. We feel like our presentation, the PowerPoint, is full of great resources, great information. There's some helpful links that we've put in there. We are hoping that you'll be able to take your time now to go back to slides perhaps that you'd like to see again, see more information on, and take advantage of these links that we have put together for you to use.
I just wanted to follow up and let you know what students we serve. So Karen and I both serve students at the studio program at CAHS, and I, Mrs. Mahili, serve the students with the last names A through L, and then Mrs. Witham serves the students with the last names M through Z. And then there's also an academic coach who serves the students at the PLC. And we just wanted to let you know that we will also be hosting Q&As. So be checking the Monday news for those virtual counselor Q&As if you have additional questions. And we would look forward to seeing you there. And we hope you all have a great evening. Bye.
Welcome, juniors, to the class of 2022. My name is Karen Witham, and Natalie Mahili is here with me tonight, and we are together presenting on college and career, covering topics ranging from four-year universities, community colleges, career and technical education. So we hope that you'll stay with us, tune in, and we hope that you'll find our presentation tonight really helpful as you map out and plan for the upcoming years. So good plans, as we know, shape good decisions. That's why good planning helps to make elusive dreams come true. Tonight, we want to be a night that is hopefully a night that will shape some of your dreams and allow you to plan ahead for your future. So as we move into college admissions, for those of you looking at four-year universities and what they would have to offer, we really do promote and encourage you to start out by visiting bigfuture.org. This is a website that is owned by the College Board. It is packed full of great information. On this site, you're able to create a profile for yourself You plug in all the courses that you've taken in high school, plan to take in high school. And so this then allows you to develop your criteria for selecting a college. And additionally, this can be a time as you're looking at colleges and college majors to start thinking through interests and passions that you would have. And our Naviance site has all kinds of great resources there for you to do sort of a personal inventory and a career interest inventory. So between those two sites, bigfuture.org and Naviance, we feel that we've got a whole lot of great resources there just waiting. So then step two, as you're getting ready to apply. So as far as standardized testing goes, typically, students have been taking the SAT, ACT. However, due to COVID-19, at least for the senior year and for the seniors this year, the colleges have not been, most of the colleges have not been are not requiring that students submit a standardized test score. So they're not requiring those SAT, ACT tests. Obviously, juniors this year, like the seniors, you're not able to get standardized tests taken due to school closures. And so our understanding would be that there will be some changes for this class, this junior class, but we aren't sure at this time exactly what that would look like. What we do know is that there will be a lot more emphasis now placed on essays and essay writing. So spring, summer of your junior year, ideally, is when you want to start those essays. The Common Application will release their essay prompts. Typically, they do that early in January. And then the same is true in the spring. Typically, there are essay prompts that have been released for the UCs. And so you can get started there with those essays. We'll talk a little bit more through the presentation on essays, what those look like, and the importance of essays. If you haven't done a resume, we want to encourage you to do that now. We have some examples of resumes that we will post. And if you're not doing a resume, a brag sheet will also work for those letters of recommendation. So, certainly as counselors, we want to write you guys great letters of rec. We want to see you guys getting into those great colleges and universities. And so we want to encourage you, reach out to us if needed. Certainly for the Common Application, counselors are required to answer questions and write letters of rec. The sooner you get both counseling and teachers, coaches asked for letters of rec, the better. Obviously, the more lead time that we have to write those letters, the lengthier and meatier those letters look like. So I want to encourage you there on those letters of recommendation. So now step three, the college application, how to apply. So typically for students across the nation, there is a great site called the Common Application. Over 750 universities tie into that application. You do one application, and then that one application, a consortium of universities have agreed that they will accept that application. So it's a nice way to apply to multiple universities, but just having to do one application. The UCs, many California students, you're applying to the UC system or the CSU system. So here we have links up on where you would need to go to apply to either of those university systems. Also, there are a whole host of private universities, both in California and all around the nation, that will have their own individual university applications that they have posted on their websites, and you simply get on and would apply directly through them. Some things to keep in mind as you consider majors. Most college students change majors at least once. That's what the colleges and the university systems tell us. Current college graduates change careers at least 6 times. So we want to say, if you don't know what you're going to major in right now, that is okay. If you do know what you're going to major in right now, that too is okay. We want this to be a time of exploring. And so that's where taking advantage of some of the great resources that are out there, like Naviance, like the Common Application, like no, sorry, not Naviance, and some of the other resources that we're going to put up for you on career, you are able to hopefully get some insights as to what interests you have and how that would match up with different majors and different professions and careers. Personal inventory. Bigfuture.org, we've talked about. It is just a great college search site. Gives you all kinds of great information about universities. In the past and previous years, it has helped students know on SAT and ACT scores what they need to have, sort of a range of score that they might want to be looking for as they apply to those colleges. However, another nice thing with Big Future is they have outlined exactly what a student needs to be taking in high school. For instance, how many math you should take in high school, how many science, how many English, foreign language, all of that stuff. Once you put in your profile and do your search, then Big Future will kick back to you college choices. The same is true for Naviance. So if you haven't been accessing your Naviance accounts, we want to really encourage you to do that. Naviance has something called Supermatch. This is a great feature. Again, it allows you to match up with the university that you're looking for, that you're interested in, and gives you ideas for some that you maybe hadn't thought of before. And so it really is another great, great resource. PrincetonReview.com. On that particular website, on the Princeton Review's website, you can use Find Your College. And once again, the same great resources there are available to students to plug in and search out, what careers, what majors are offered, what minors are offered, what double majors are offered. And then also tells a lot about campus life, size of college, cities, if the college is in a large town, a small town, all those kinds of things. So this stuff really does allow you to sort of personalize your search. Then developing a criteria to get to know yourself. So as you're looking at college, it is important that you take a step back, kind of look at what kind of intellectual climate it is that you're looking for. Be thinking about a specific major. If you know a specific major, you'll want to definitely take that into consideration. Be thinking about how important extracurriculars are to you. That's very important to some, not as important to others. Athletics. If you are a player or a spectator, how important it is to have different sport programs available and on campus. Location, area of the country, rural, urban, suburban, all those things are certainly factors to consider, along with the size of the university that you might want to attend. Do you want to be at a large university, medium-sized university, or a small university? And so with that too, some other questions come up. Religious affiliation. Is it important that you attend a school that would have a religious affiliation or not have a religious affiliation tied to it? Military preparation. If you're looking at the military, then to be researching those military academies. Looking at Greek life, if that's important or not important. And then finally, and perhaps most importantly for many of us, the cost of the university. How much does that cost, and how much is your family able to absorb on college expenses? So now, as you look for criteria for college, there are all kinds of great things out there. It certainly is a more detailed sort of application process than it has been perhaps in years past. There are a lot of great college guides out there. A lot of the bookstores, Barnes and Noble and whatnot, sells all kinds of detailed college guides. For those of you that might want to have someone actually sit down and look at a resume, actually say, get on your Common Application site, help you come up with a list of colleges and kind of work through financial aid and work through doing the FAFSA. Many families do elect to hire out a college consultant. And so there are college consultants that are individual consultants that you can talk to. And for a fee, then, they walk you and kind of handhold families through the college application process. Additionally, there are businesses out there that will do the same thing, or will sort of piecemeal out sections of college applications that you would then, again, pay a fee for and get more of that one-on-one. Another important thing too throughout the college process, as you're seeking colleges and where you might want to go, talking to friends, teachers, relatives. It is good to get feedback from people that have attended universities, maybe some of the universities that you might be looking at, and to get their feedback on things that they really liked about that university college system, and maybe things that they wish maybe they were a little bit different or were very different. Another important thing to do is to attend those college fairs. The college fairs this year, obviously people aren't right now anyhow meeting in person, and so college fairs are going virtual. The same is true for college visits. The colleges and universities are all now doing virtual visits. We want to really encourage you to be checking out Naviance. Our Naviance site is listing out the colleges that are coming just to our high school students. So we have a whole host of universities that are coming. We post those links, those Zoom links for students and parents to attend both in Naviance and also on Schoology. So it's super important that you attend those meetings. Getting to know the college reps is just huge. They are able to give you all kinds of insights about the colleges that they serve, scholarships that they offer, just all kinds of great information. And many times a college rep, if they know that you are their number one choice, they will many times even look over that resume for you, and sometimes even those essays. And who better than a college rep for a specific school knows what that college is looking for. So we want to really encourage you to take time then to connect with those reps that come out to our high school virtually this year, and then to do any tours, interviews that might be offered. Typically we would want our students to go out maybe and sit in on a class, spend the night on a campus, talk to students, professors, ask questions, visit the financial aid office. And hopefully for this junior class, that will be something that you guys will be able to do. If not this year, you'll be able to do it in the fall as a senior. But hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed that you can do that sooner rather than later. Then finding your college match. So again, as far as the colleges go, there are all kinds of test score ranges that the colleges at one time were looking for. I would say now that there will be a lot more emphasis put on grade point averages. But again, you're going to want to check websites, course catalogs for majors and courses, and minors within majors. And so again, here is our Big Future site again, that would at least let you have an idea. Although students aren't taking the SAT, they will still have a showing of what kinds of scores were made for incoming freshmen. They have a little scattergram that you can look at. And this will still give you a good idea as to what kind of student is on that college campus. So again, that's important. So here's a showing of on Big Future what that actual little scattergram looks like. And so you can see at this university what the average score was for students. So that it was within a range of 640 and 740 for the evidence-based reading and writing. On the math, it was within the range of 640 and 790. And then here we have another range between 1280 and 1530, and then the numbers of students, that would have been performing at that level. So it's some good, some good background information about a university. And again, once again, our big future and Naviance. Here's just a whole host of websites that are just great websites for you to look at as you sort of narrow down and actually maybe too as you expand your college search. These are good websites for you to be knowledgeable on, take some time to look at, and then hopefully these same sites help you actually narrow down which university, which college ultimately is the best fit for you. And that looks so different for everybody. There is no one university, in my thinking, that is the only place that a student can go and be successful. Great kids do great at a whole host of universities. It's just finding that one that that is a best fit for you. So there's some great sites there for you to look at. Service academies for students that are looking to go into the military. Definitely as a junior, you want to start right away. There's all kinds of requirements that the military academies have that definitely vary from the four-year universities that would be more traditional. They do require a nomination from a senator, congressman, or the vice president. And the more of those recommendations and nominations that you can get, the better. The academies all run preview days. They will be doing that virtually. And so again, to be looking at their virtual college visits, preview days, and you'll be wanting to go then to their websites. Additionally, the academies run all kinds of great summer seminars that very much play into a student's being admitted into the academy. Those applications are due early in the winter. And so we'd want to encourage you to reach out directly to which of the academies it is that you would be most interested in to see what it is, when their programs are running and the application process in order to be admitted. Playing sports in college. So we talked about the military academies, kids that are students wanting to go off there, and then students that are wanting to play sports. We want you connecting with your coaches. Typically those coaches are the people putting you in contact with college scouts that come out to high schools and make those connections. There are websites here that you would want to be knowledgeable of and be using. The NCAA site is listed here. And so you can go on this site. You can view your colleges by conference as well as by division on the NCAA site. There is also now the NAIA site that our students use. So both of those are working websites that are used for athletes who are looking to go off and play a whole host of sports in college. So again, as a junior, now's the time to get familiar with those sites. Performing arts in college. So auditions, tapes, portfolios, all those pieces are needed for students that are looking to go to college and get into majors that would be things like art, drama, any of the performance areas. We want to encourage you to talk to your teachers, your high school teachers, and to then connect with the colleges to see what it is that they're looking for. Typically, many of them have requested that, that you are submitting a portfolio of sorts, or you're giving them some sort of tapes or auditions. When I say tapes, YouTube, that sort of thing. So you're going to want to be looking into that, because that application process too looks a little different from some of the other more traditional types of majors. Standardized testing. So SAT and subject tests, want to encourage you actually back to the College Board, who owns the SAT standardized tests. The same is true for ACT. That is a completely different organization than College Board, and you'll find more information on the ACT at actstudent.org. So both of those are great standardized tests, or have been certainly great standardized tests for getting admitted into college, and they've been required. Currently in the state of California, Local test sites are closed due to COVID. And so seniors are not doing any standardized testing, neither are juniors doing any standardized testing. And actually the Cal State and UCs have moved away from that. There's conversation that they will in fact be using their own standardized tests in future years within perhaps a 5-year period. So we're all kind of sitting back and waiting to see what they're going to do with standardized testing. 4-year universities, again, not requiring standardized test scores for admissions, and that will be the case for this year's senior class. Juniors, again, we're kind of all watching to see, but feeling as though because we're not able to do testing at the moment, that there will be probably some sort of waiver given. But want to refer you back to the College Board site and ACT site for their updates. Test prep. There are some great test prep sites, and actually regardless of whether or not the SAT runs, the more test prep you do, the better off you will perform in college as a freshman. The colleges are still running CLEP exams that when you get on their campus as a freshman, you can take those CLEP exams. So we still encourage students, you know, it's always good to be prepping. You're not, just because there's not an SAT or an ACT doesn't mean that you shouldn't be in, say, an SAT prep course. Another thing to mention is that while universities perhaps are not requiring the SAT for college admissions, many of them are actually asking that students come on their campus to take an SAT. It is then an SAT that they own, and they then determine merit money is then given from how well you perform on their SAT. So some universities are doing that. It would be a lot of more of the privates. That's what we're hearing, that private universities are offering students to come on campus and take the SAT. So again, you're going to want to go back to your college list and see which of your colleges is requiring what, and what opportunities they're giving students for scholarship money, merit money, money that is given to you not based on necessarily family financial need, but on student academic performance. Our Naviance site has some great SAT prep on it. So again, Naviance is a great resource that all high school students should be familiar with and be using. Local test prep companies are still out there, still running test prep. Khan Academy is a free test prep online service that doesn't cost anything. All kinds of great practice tests there. It's personalized. You can go on and you can take a practice SAT, and then the future tests that they give you that are practice will be then playing to the areas that are your areas of weakness, so that hopefully you're continuing to see those types of questions that you had a struggle with, so that ultimately you can have mastery. So it's just a great resource. And again, another little resource that is a great resource is the College Board has an app called Daily Practice. You can get that on your phone. So we want to really encourage you there. Get that, upload that. It's a minimal fee, and you are able then to get a question every day. And that's just helpful with actually kind of seeing, okay, what kinds of questions are they asking? And you're familiar with the style of question that they would have. So now Natalie is with me, and Natalie is going to talk through the community college section here and what future Palomar students should know and things that they should be familiar with.
All right, so for our juniors, this will begin in the fall of their senior year, so it's still a little bit early for them, but for our juniors who are already know they want to go straight to a community college, they have to meet our minimum graduation requirements and get their high school diploma, and all students will be accepted to go to community college. So there is the Palomar Promise program. Most of our students end up going to Palomar College, but there are different local community colleges that students can attend that have a Promise program. And this is for first-time college students. And if they follow all of the enrollment steps, they technically can get up to 2 years free at the community college. So at Palomar, this is called the Palomar Promise Program. It is on a first come, first served basis. And like I said, it begins early in the fall of senior year. It involves students applying to be a student at Palomar, applying for the Promise program. It's 2 applications. And then they have to also complete their FAFSA. And we recommend doing that early in the fall, and then they'll find out if they get accepted, since it is first come, first serve. And then basically they'll get a little bit of money for books. They have to make sure they're enrolled in 12 or more units, and then they can get their first year of college free, and second year as well currently. And then there's a priority admissions for Palomar that is held in the spring of senior year, and then that helps students get enrolled with the courses that they plan to take. They can meet with a counselor, go over their educational plan, and all of that great stuff at the community college that has a lot of good resources for them. So here's just a little screenshot of what the flyer looks like. We will have more information for seniors on completing this process and getting started early. We try to have Palomar representatives come onto campus. We had them come during lunch previously and answer any of our students' questions and just really help walk them through the application process. We're here to help too if students have questions. And like I said, this information does get posted out for seniors with the flyer and everything, and all of the great information to help them through the process. Here's the steps. This just talks about the steps that they'll take. So like I had mentioned, there's a Palomar College application. They'll set up and check their student email. They'll apply for financial aid. Then there's the additional Palomar Promise application in their Palomar portal. They'll attend a student orientation online. And then they'll set up their counseling plan with the counseling center at Palomar, and then after that, register for classes to make sure they get priority enrollment in the classes that they need to take. So there's a lot of great transfer admission agreements at the community colleges that students can plan to go there and do their general education their first 2 years, as long as it takes 2 years, and then they can transfer to local colleges that they may have in mind. There's different transfer agreements with the UC schools. A great website to do research on that is assist.org. The community colleges have a lot of great resources about transferring. So we always recommend students meet with the Palomar College or community college of choice representative counselor at the school that they are interested in going to, because they can give them all the different kinds of information, what courses they should be taking, if they have transfer agreements, what those expectations are, if there's certain minimum GPA requirements, and obviously what educational plan they will need to follow, because there's different plans considering if they're looking at a UC or a CSU, and then private schools vary. And then there's also a lot of great resources at the community college for certificate of achievements or proficiency in different academic or career technical training programs. And Mrs. Witham is going to talk a little bit more about the career technical and extended education.
So we are going to feature Palomar College and their career technical and extended education program. Now, in fact, most of the local community colleges now do have something similar to what Palomar would have in place. But we do feel very fortunate that we are in an area of the country that our community colleges do have these great resources available to us. So some of the CTE departments and programs that are available are cooperative education, CTE transitions, design and manufacturing technologies, emergency medical education, occupational and non-credit programs are available through this. Public safety programs are available, administration of justice, fire technology, the fire academy, the police academy, various aspects of trade and industry, as well as then a workforce community and continuing education that exists within this career technical and education world. The contact that we have with Palomar is listed here. She is the Dean of CTEE, and we've got her contact information there. We've met with her several times, and she is just lovely and is wanting students to reach out. So if any of these areas are of interest to you, then we want you to definitely explore. So we're excited that Palomar now, has reached and rolled out information to us. Back to those 4-year programs. So the Common Application, we've talked a little bit about here. Again, it is a great website that you can, again, do one college application, and it is then tied into, we have shown here 700 plus universities. I think every year it grows. And so actually, I think now it's probably closer to 750, but definitely it's 700. Our Naviance program is not matched to the Common Application. So when you list colleges in Naviance, if they show that they are Common App universities and that they do an individual application, you are going to want to mark in there how you're going to do that, how you're going to apply to them. If you're going to apply to them individually, or if you're going to apply to them on the Common Application. If you are applying on the Common Application does require that counselors get on there. And so you're going to want to invite us onto your Common Application site. We put together letters of recommendation for you. We answer a whole slew of questions, and we upload transcripts at the beginning of senior year, mid-year, and then at the end of the year on that site. So really important that you add counseling to that site. As far as the UC system is concerned, they have their own application site. It opens up when you're a senior. It will open up November 1st and it will close November 30th. And those dates are really ironclad. If you try and apply on December 1st to a UC, then that application site is closed. We always encourage our kids to apply early on the UC site and on the Cal State site, because sometimes you have a lot of people on it towards the end, and there have been years when the site has crashed and then students' applications have not gone through. So important that you know those dates and keep them in mind. The Cal State University site, we've listed here where you go to apply. And the dates for application are October 1st through December the 4th. Then Naviance. So our Naviance site is, again, where we list a whole host of great resources, scholarships, college visits. Again, this year, we keep talking about our virtual college visits because that is important. That's where we show all of the colleges that are coming directly to us and just meeting with our students. But also available on that site are other universities that would be meeting virtually with students across the entire nation. So on the Naviance site, if you don't see the college that you're looking for that would be coming just to Classical Academy High School, then we encourage you to go on the Naviance portion that would show colleges that are visiting and available for students all over the nation. On Naviance, you request transcripts. That is, transcripts are requested for all of your non-Common Application schools. So on the Common Application, you invite us as counselors, Ms. Mouhealy and myself, and we upload transcripts. For other universities, you will be requesting all of your transcripts through Naviance. This is time-stamped and dated, and so it protects you and it protects the university, and that way we're certain that those transcripts didn't get lost in the mail or sat in a college admissions office somewhere and didn't land. So important that transcripts get requested in Naviance. Letters of recommendation, again, you're going to want to be, as you make up your college list, we want to encourage you to allow 3 weeks for recommenders to write those letters and to do some research to see, do those colleges need letters of recommendation? Some colleges do and some colleges don't. While we're talking about colleges, we encourage students that are looking at those 4-year universities to pick 6. That's sort of the general consensus that's out there. You pick 2 universities that would be reach universities meaning those colleges that you would love to attend, maybe academically, test score wise, GPA wise. They are a reach, so they're called a reach. Schools like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, all of those are really a reach for everybody. Nobody really knows if they're going to be able to get in, but you don't know unless you try. And so 2 reach universities, 2 target universities, those universities that you would think, yes, you know, I feel good. I think I've got the grade point average, my essay, everything looks strong. Those are schools that I feel like I can get into. And then those safety universities, maybe not your first pick, but if something should happen in this crazy college world, you are not left, you know, left waiting and maybe didn't get into, say, 6 universities that were all highly prestigious and very competitive. So anyway, just kind of threw that in there, but it is important that you have a nice mix of colleges when you are applying. And then again, if they do need letters of recommendation, find that out, ask early, allow 3 weeks for the recommender, and then be sure and follow up with a note of appreciation. Writing letters of recommendation does take time. Certainly for teachers, if they're writing letters of recommendation, you know, it's time out of their day. And so be sure and say thank you and send a little note of appreciation. Now, as you get into actually applying to college, you will come across different terminologies for those applications. So early action, early decision 1 and 2, rolling admissions, open admissions, selective admissions. Early action is non-binding. You're just applying early. We encourage everyone to apply as early action. For most universities, that's just a great way to go. You're not held, you're not bound by that kind of application. Early decision 1 and 2, that is a legally binding decision now, that if you are accepted, that you will attend, regardless of cost or anything else. The nice thing with early decision is if you are not able to meet perhaps all of the requirements for that university, perhaps your grade point's not quite where it could be, or there's something on that transcript that's maybe a little lacking, whatever, those universities sometimes will look favorably on those students and they'll say, you know what, since you have committed to us, we are going to commit to you and we will admit you. But you want to keep in mind early decision means that is where you will attend. We have a little link down here that you'll want to go to that will actually give you much more detail on each of these types of admission. Rolling admissions, meaning it just continues to keep going until the school year starts. The same is true for open. Selective admissions, of course, would be those highly selective schools and what it is they're looking for in their admissions process. But again, we've got the link down below and want to encourage you to go and check that out if you have questions on that one. So factors in admissions, there are several things that those colleges look for. And so some of those things, those pieces would be grades, your grades, that grade point average, standardized admission scores. Obviously that looks very different right now. The essay is huge. We want you to look at that essay like that is your interview. It's not just an essay. It's not just can you write and can you, put something together that doesn't have a lot of grammatical errors, but rather they want to hear your story. And in fact, many of those essay prompts want you to tell about yourself. And the reason they want that is because they want to get to know you. They want to get a feel that you are going to come to them and be successful, that you're going to be one of those positive retention numbers, that you're going to stick around, that you're resilient. Want to encourage any students that have gone through any kind of struggle or hardship or even helped another person. Lessons that have come from that experience are really important to put in an essay or in some sort of writing sample. Another factor in admissions is those letters of recommendation, and I actually see some of this now perhaps having more weight than it did once. because of the test scores going away. And then, some universities are moving to actual interviews, work activity, putting that work activity jobs on your resume, on your college applications, your demonstrated interest in that school, community service, extracurricular activities. All of that is super important. Colleges talk about admissions being holistic, and what that means is they are looking at the whole person. And so it is important, as you do those essays, that you are listing all of those great things that you've been a part of, and that's put on that application.
All right, so getting into the students' part of application, when they are filling out their college applications, they're going to need to fill in some biographical information, just some basic information about themselves. They will mark their senior year courses. This is always a big question that parents or students have. How important are those? Those do play a part in the application process, especially for the schools that might be harder to get into. They're going to be looking for a more rigorous senior year, whereas some other colleges that may not matter as much. So you just want to be doing your research and trying to up that rigor if you are applying to schools that are harder to get into. You will be listing your activities, prior employment, internships, summer programs, honors, and awards. This is where that resume really comes into play. If a student has a resume already made, they can just be pulling all that stuff right into their application off of their resume that they can also use to provide to their recommenders, so that way it's all listed there. And this is your time to brag. So students want to brag about themselves in their application. So that way, sometimes students find that a little hard to do. And, even sometimes they can go to their parents and say, hey, what should I add to this? Because sometimes that's hard for kids to brag about themselves. But this is when you really want to brag. So the essays will be a part of the application, and we did discuss that. That will probably play an even bigger part this year and next year, since the standardized test scores, we're not sure what that will look like for next year's seniors, whether it will be test optional or not required at all. So the essays will play a big part in that process. And then if they do have standardized test scores, the students are responsible for sending those directly to the individual universities from those testing services. So they will send it, if they have an SAT score that they want to send, they will send that from College Board directly to that university. And same with the ACT. They would send it directly from the ACT website to the college. That is the student's responsibility in order for those official scores to be sent. Now, the college essay, we recommend students to download the application essays before summer break. A lot of students start working on this in the spring of junior year, as we had mentioned. The more time they can have to prepare, the less stress they will be later on their senior year. So the more they can get started on it, the better it'll be for them, and they can have people look at it, revise it. A lot of students will bring it to their senior English teacher, their junior English teacher, have them look it over for content and errors, so that way they can have the best essay they can. And so we recommend that they complete a good draft of the Common App, the UC, or individual university essays before they come back to school in the fall of senior year. Some students don't do that, but it does help a lot with the stress. And then it's important to know that the CSUs do not require an essay. So there's no essay required for that one. As far as the essay goes, we highly recommend that students be authentic. So try to personalize it as much as they can. Try not to just do the typical, maybe what everybody writes about. Try to dig down deep and really find something that is individual to you, and expand about something that's very personal that really might pull on the heartstrings of those admissions officers that are reading those essays. Answer the question and write to the topic. Sometimes students will trail off and it won't really relate to what they actually should be answering. So definitely look at that and try to stay on topic. And then decide what is essential for the college to know about you and write about it. And like I had said, this is your opportunity to explain if there's certain circumstances you've been through in life Sometimes students, have gone through hardships, and that can explain maybe a tough year they had sophomore year or something. If you're willing to explain some of those, this is your chance to get really personal with them and explain about your life. And, we've seen with holistic review, sometimes that really matters for the admissions offices and can make a difference. If a school requests an essay, it is important. So there's a lot of times like on the common application where it might be a supplemental essay, we recommend that you do complete that. So it is important, and we do suggest you do that. And the essays can reveal your thought processes, what you're passionate about, your individuality and uniqueness, and your ability to use language effectively. So it really makes a difference in the application process. So resumes for college, many colleges expect to receive a resume, which is why we push the resume a lot. We do have a brag sheet that students can fill out to give to their recommenders as well. We have a template for that, and we post that out for seniors. You are welcome to use that as well. But the resume is nice because sometimes you can upload it directly to your college application for them to see. And it just looks very nice and clean. So the resume is really important, and it's important for the recommenders. And like we had mentioned, the recommenders can include teachers, the school counselor typically, and then coaches, pastors, youth pastors. And then different colleges have different limitations for letters of recommendation. So some may max it at 2, some may allow more, but you want to be thoughtful in who you include and have a good different amount of people who can speak to different differences about you and give a great wholesome picture.
So now we're going to talk too a little bit about financial aid. So we've listed here again some websites that we would encourage you to visit. FastWeb has a lot of different scholarship opportunities there and available. The FAFSA is something that you're going to want to use as if you're looking to get student loans throughout college. Then October 1st of senior year is when parents would go in and actually begin to fill that out for their students. So that is typically a parent piece. So that's something to note and keep in mind. As you're searching out financial aid, college financial aid offices are always open and available. And again, as you get that college list put together, you can reach out and find out what kinds of special needs scholarships are available, what kinds of merit scholarships are available. Most colleges and universities do have a lot listed on their website, but many times too, it's going in and talking to people. You're able to find out a whole lot, many times more. And certainly that would be true at the private universities, where different majors have endowments, and so many times there's scholarships that then you can have, you might then have access to. Other areas to search out for financial aid is employers. Many employers offer students scholarships. The credit unions, many of the credit unions run scholarships. Many places of employment, if students work, say, for different organizations, Starbucks is one, they offer scholarships to students and sometimes actually offer, full college tuition. And so again, searching out employers, student employers, parent employers. We have an extensive list of scholarships that we list out on our Naviance site. So once again, being familiar with Naviance, getting on that site, there are all kinds of scholarships that are available. A lot of times students wait until their senior year to apply for scholarships. There are some scholarships that you actually cannot apply for until senior year, but there's a whole host of scholarships that you can apply for now as a junior. Most scholarships do require an essay to be written. And so again, just like those college applications, being smart with how you're working, maybe search out some of the scholarships that you're interested in, see what kinds of essays they're looking for, and hopefully you can write just 1 or 2 essays that can be sort of tweaked for several scholarships. Another great search engine for scholarships is the Schoology app. You can get that on your phone. Just a great little app. It is personalized, so you plug in, what you've been involved in. Everybody wants scholarships, but those scholarships typically are requiring proof of, maybe extracurricular activities, service projects, those sorts of things. So this is a place that you can go. You can go on the Schoology app. You can plug in your information, and it will then kick back different scholarships specifically to your interests and to some of the things that you would have been involved in. So here's information on FAFSA. You are able to fill that out starting again October 1st of your senior year in college, or senior year in high school, not college. So that would be October 1st, 2021. We've got the website here listed for you. Again, this is something that parents would do, or typically something more that parents would do. If you're applying for Cal Grant, FAFSA must be completed by March 2nd, and the disbursement of funds is based on grade point average. We should also point out here that if you are looking to do the Palomar, if you're wanting to tap into the Palomar Promise, then again, you have to get this completed. This is required for going to the community college, going off, say, to Palomar, in order to get that tuition fee waived. And that is not necessarily based on financial need. Again, that is just something that they require for you to do. So this is definitely a very important piece of the college application part, whether you're, again, going off to a 2-year or going off to a 4-year university. Scholarships, we talked earlier about scholarships and some of the sites to visit, but here's a few more of the search engines. FastWeb, again, a great resource. Meritaid.com, that Schoology app, and then going on Naviance, where we list just all kinds of scholarship applications that are available to students. Really, we discourage, for the most part, anyone paying for a scholarship search, because there is so much out there. There's so many great resources that really don't have any cost associated with them. And so maybe before you go to a scholarship search where you would pay a fee, we'd encourage you to check out some of check out some of these scholarship opportunities and work sort of within that range first. As far as sort of a checklist for the spring and things that you want to be doing, we want to encourage you now to research your colleges. Start coming up with that list of colleges. Really, by the time you can see from those college application deadlines, by the time you come back as a senior, things almost are starting to wrap up. The UC application and the Cal State applications open up early in the fall. And so really you want to have sort of your ducks lined up. And so junior year is really the time that we really push for students to begin really thinking through, what their plans are for the following school year. And again, whether that be 4-year universities, 2-year community colleges to start with, and whether that be CTE. So if you're looking at going into career and technical education, the same would be true. Start talking to people, start doing some research. You can even get ahead by taking some dual credits that would tie in and hopefully help either lighten your academic load or possibly even get you out of a 4-year program, a 2-year program, or out of an early career technical program just that little bit sooner. In a normal school year, we recommend taking the SAT or ACT tests by the end of spring semester, junior year. Obviously, this year looks very, very different. Just be checking colleges, checking, your college interest list, be checking the college board site for SAT updates, the ACT site, actstudent.org for ACT updates. But due to our COVID-19, it seems as though that for this junior year's class, there will be some definite concessions made on standardized testing. Important though that you prepare that resume early. Again, those letters of recommendation, I think will be possibly more important than before. That essay will be more important than before. And so the more of those sorts of things that you can spend time on and do some research on, that will greatly help you then with college and the college application process. Continue to do those college visits. Obviously now those visits are going to be taking place virtually. Again, connect with those reps, ask them questions. They are there just to love and support you. And our experience with reps is anytime students reach out, they are more than happy to answer questions and give you, really give you great insights on the colleges that they serve. Begin those essays. As far as, testing, obviously we've talked through that, but again, any prep work that you might be doing, it's just going to help you down the road, be it with CLEP exams or, that freshman year. Get busy with college searches and summer activities. The community service is super important. All the colleges right now, they like seeing students that give back. And so there are even now some creative things that you can be doing. Even as we all social distance, there's still a whole lot that is available for you to do. And we have some of those ideas posted. And we post that in our Monday news, our Counseling Monday news. Also important to keep reading some interesting books. Sometimes, certainly for some of those colleges, they like to ask questions about, the whole person. What are you reading? What do you like to do in your free time? What kinds of jobs have you done? And what kind of leadership roles have you taken on within those jobs, within those clubs? So again, at the high school, we have all kinds of great clubs that we are rolling out actually, in the next week or two. And if you can be a part of those sorts of things and take on some leadership roles within those clubs, again, that is just great growth for you. And it's just great too for college applications and resume building. So college visits, it really is impossible to get a feel of a campus without getting on a campus, without virtually getting on a campus, without meeting, people that serve those campuses. It's just similar to high school. Would you sign up for a high school that you'd never really talked to anybody that had been there, or you'd never seen it yourself or seen it virtually? So the same is true going off and going away sometimes to a university or college system. It's important that you do your research. Juniors and seniors can plan and should plan to use Mondays for those college visits. Hopefully, as things open up, that is just a great day to get out and get on feet on those campuses and get to know people. And I'm going to say for right now, just a great time to get on and do those virtual visits. Get on bigfuture.org. There's visits, there's all kinds of great information on each of the colleges, pictures of the university, listings of what they offer. So doing your research on those Mondays, Monday afternoons is really going to have great payoff down the road. Again, we encourage both formal and informal visits to college campuses, as is permitted. So for parents, how can you support your students? Now is a great time to start talking to your student about their college selection criteria, what it is that they're looking for. Have those conversations. It is important. Get to know what it is they're looking for. They are the one who's going off to college, and we are wanting them to go to places that they love and where they can be successful. 2, know your financial parameters. So being realistic with the amount of money that you're able to spend on college and what that looks like. There are all kinds of ways to get this done. And so every family is different with what they're able to do financially. And so have those discussions. Think broadly. Some of the best schools, maybe some of those that you haven't heard about. So, I've been in different parts of the country as a counselor, serving as a counselor. And, many times, yes, we are very familiar with those universities that we serve that are, in our back door. And those universities are many times are great systems. However, There are all kinds of great colleges and universities out there. There are also agreements that exist where you can go to out-of-state universities for in-state tuition cost. So just because you don't have to necessarily stay in California in order to get the in-state tuition. So there are some agreements. There's a Western Agreement Alliances of Colleges where they tie in and say, if you come to our university out of state, we will allow you either the same in-state tuition or very, very close to in-state tuition. So you want to keep that in mind. And again, let your son or daughter be in the driver's seat. Obviously, we want them, again, to go off and to be successful. So the more conversations that can happen around college, career, and what it is that they're looking for and what you're able to help them achieve in this next chapter of life is just really, really important. So being supportive and letting your son, daughter know that college admissions decisions are not an evaluation of them either as students or as human beings. So again, this whole college process, admissions process at times can be really disheartening. There's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes sometimes that we're not aware of. And great kids do wonderfully well on all kinds of college campuses. So it is important that we support our sons and daughters as they embark on this next chapter. So we want to wish you all just a terrific school year, and we are available for help and support as far as academics and college go anytime, career as well, anytime you have questions.
Have a great evening.